Hello everyone, this is Vishal Pandey and I welcome you back in my YouTube class. So children, as we have gone through our previous video, we have already we are discussing this chapter, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse, and we have already discussed up to horse, the white horse, and the advantage which was taken by Murad and Aram, both of them, and now they will take some initiative in context to their horse riding. Let us see what it comes in the next paragraph. Consequently, even though I could see the horse so magnificent, even though I could smell it so lovely, even though I could hear it breathing so exciting, I couldn't believe the horse had anything to do with my cousin Murad. So this is the meaning literal, which indicates that Aram is very much convinced about that Murad could not buy this particular horse. So what he is doing with that horse, he is very excited. He could not believe this story, and he wanted to know. Some curiosity is there in his mind, in his moment, that he want to know something about that white horse. With me or with any of the members of our family asleep or awake, because I knew my cousin Murad couldn't have bought the horse, and if he couldn't have bought it, he must have stolen it, and I refused to believe he had stolen it. Now children, if you remember, I have already told you that the members of Garoglanian family could not steal anything because they are the symbol of honesty. So ultimately what Aram thinks is that how Murad can steal something, and he also suppose that how he can bring bring a horse, a white horse. So both the terms are unbelievable, both the things are unbelievable for Aram itself. No member of the Garoglanian family could be a thief, and on the other hand he is also convinced that the member of Garoglanian family could not be a thief. They can't steal anything, and at the same time he is saying that Aram cannot bring this horse by money. So two things are there. First, that Murad couldn't buy that horse. Second, he couldn't steal that horse. He could not steal that horse because it belonged to Garoglanian family. I stared first at my cousin and then at the horse. There was a pious stillness and humor in each of them, which on the one hand delighted me and on the other hand frightened me. So Aram is both. Aram is both in a dilemma. He's in a dilemma and he's in both situation. At the first hand he is very much excited, and on the other hand he is frightened as well because of on the behalf of his cousin Murad. He is very much frightened that from where this horse has been brought by Murad itself. Murad, I said, where did you steal this horse? Leap out of window, he said, if you want to ride. So what Murad is saying, if you want to ride this one, please come out. Don't ask silly questions to me. It was true then. He had stolen the horse. There was no question about it. He had come to invite me to ride or not as I choose. So what ultimately Murad is saying is that you have to come or not, you have to decide. If you want to ride it, just come out. If you don't want to ride it, leave it. It is all upon you. You have to take your decision. So Aram is saying that ultimately now he has stolen this horse. Well, it seemed to me stealing a horse for a ride was not the same thing as stealing something else, such as money. This sentence is very interesting, student, because Aram is now, he tries to convince us, he tries to manipulate the fact, which is because he is trying to say that this horse cannot be considered as stolen horse, because we have taken this horse for the sake of riding. We are not selling this horse on the cost of money, so it cannot be called as stolen horse. For all I knew, maybe it was not stealing at all. If you were crazy about horse the way my cousin Murad and I were, it wasn't stealing. So Murad and Aram both are crazy for horse riding. So Aram is saying, if you means we readers, if you are as crazy as we are for the riding of the horse, this craziness cannot be categorized under stealing. So he don't think that this crime, that this offense have a right to declare them thief, or you cannot say that they have stolen that horse for the sake of selling that particular horse, because they only want to ride it. Although they have done wrong, it is also a crime, but Aram thinks in his own aspect that this particular work cannot be categorized under crime. It wouldn't become stealing until we offered to sell the horse. So ultimately he thinks that if we sell this horse, then it can be an offense, then it can be a crime, then it can be categorized under stealing, which of course I knew we would never do. Let me put on some clothes, I said. All right, he said, but hurry. I leaped into my clothes. I jumped down to the yard from the window and leaped up onto the horse behind my cousin Murad. Now from here the story is very much clear, because till this paragraph you can understand there was only conversation between Murad and Aram. Now it is the time of action, children. From here, from the next paragraph, we can see that we will able to see that Murad is taking Aram for horse riding, and they both will enjoy horse riding, and they will move from their valley to next and to next valley. So let us see what they did. That year we lived at the edge of town. You can see this story is narrating, this story is being narrated by Aram because it is the nostalgic fever, children. What is nostalgia? I have already told you when I was taking the poem A Photograph written by Shirley Tolson. Nostalgia means thinking about one's past, doing imagination of one's past, or somebody who is going back in his past, and if he is doing imaginations, he is imaginating something, and if imagination takes place, that particular sequence, that particular phenomena can be categorized under nostalgia. So Aram is telling you the story about his past when he was 9 years, when Murad was 13 years. Currently they belong to which age of group, it has not been mentioned here in this story. So we will understand it very in deeply, and we will try to find out what are the aspects in the next paragraph to come. That year we lived at the edge of town on Walnut Avenue. So what Aram is saying, that on that particular year when Murad came with the white horse, we were living on the Walnut Avenue. What is Walnut? And avenue means walnut means, I can say that akhrot, we can say. So Walnut Avenue means there was so many trees of walnut on the both side of the road, that can be categorized as Walnut Avenue. So behind our house was the country, vineyards, orchards, irrigation ditches and countrysides. So there was vineyards as well, which you can understand, wine means you can understand angur ke bagiche, and there was orchids means bagicha. Irrigation ditches means you can understand irrigations means sichai, and ditches means nali. And country roads means the road which is going to the village area. So ultimately these were the places where Aram indicates that he used to visit these places regularly, and these places have some impact on the life of Aram. In less than 3 minutes we were on Olive Avenue. So when they started riding, they started running, and along with the horse, first they cross Walnut Avenue, then they cross the vineyards, the orchards, irrigation ditches and country roads as well, and within 3 minutes they were on Olive. And then the horse began to trot. Now what do you understand by trot? Trot means running running in a very high speed. So the horse began to trot. The air was new and lovely to breathe. Air was very charming. The feel of the horse running was wonderful. My cousin Murad, who was considered one of the craziest members of our family, began to sing. He began to roar. So ultimately both were enjoying the race. Every family has a crazy streak in it somewhere, and my cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of the crazy streak in our tribe. Before him was our uncle Khushro. So I have already discussed this character, Uncle Khushro. He was very short tempered, and according to Aram, Murad is the descendant of Khushro. The descendant means Uttaradhikari. An enormous man with a powerful head of black hair and the largest mustache in the San Joaquin Valley. So this valley is situated nearby California. A man so furious in temper, so irritable. Now this is the introduction of Uncle Khushro. A man so furious in temper, he is so short temper, means he becomes angry very in a short term. So irritable, so impatient that he stopped anyone from talking by roaring, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." So this was the dialogue which Uncle Khushro keep using throughout the story, because when anyone come to him with some complaint, he roar. Roar means like lion. He speak loudly before them, and what he speak? It is no harm, pay no attention to it. So this was the explanation of till this paragraph. In next video I am going to take the new paragraphs and we will continue the story. Till then, read it if you have the textbook. If you don't have the textbook, watch this video as many times as you can. Okay, so we will meet in next video and we will continue the story. Okay, take care, bye bye.